to be moving. Plots is still sitting in the far
And
back.
that's a good smoke. 4Q drops back. I think Vonic realizing he's not good up here, and 4Q's pushing on objective right now. 30 seconds left. He has to pull pad and cap, and it's so easy. And Silent but Deadly are going to answer back. No nade from Phonix to deny this on the corner, and 4Q solo clutching for his team and keeping them in this map 1.
It's your man, Pooh Nanners, your Texas caster and hype master.
And your caster extraordinaire with the copper-toned hair. I'm Sleepy.
All right, we are in week 12 now, I believe. So let's get right into it. We've got Rome versus Ember. There's not too much to say about this one, according to Buxton. Some moments, but just not quite the match you expected. It was very strongly in favor of Rome, with the exception of Suburbia, which was way closer. So let's jump into it.
Yes, it was a pretty heavily favored Rome match, but here we go. We'll see a great nade here, and it will be our nade of the week. A little bit of suppression out and a kill coming in from the side of, I believe that was Rome. And then a nice, beautiful grenade comes in from Rob 888, getting a nice double insta-kill onto 2 members of Rome, and that just...
Trying to res his friend, but
Now the next one
unfortunately...
is when biological
It's just like the Lion King.
needs...
Oh, and a sneeze gives his position away. That's
Gives
right,
you
run
away.
You don't wanna be
There's
anywhere near that
nothing you can
sneeze.
really do about that poor
Take down
J-Lo there
Jay.
of Ember.
Oh, I love that. I love that a sneeze can give you away. He seemed to get away with it, though. He's just like, oh, I'm out of here. Oh,
That was
man.
pretty funny.
Well, Rome ultimately take the match. I believe it was 8 and 11 to 6, right? So Rome take the match 11 to 6 over Ember. So a pretty good job, and
Yeah,
pretty much what we expected. Moving on to Silent but Deadly versus Mob Squad. This is a really fantastic series. Had amazing comeback on Quarantine. From 0 to 3 to 5 to 3 for Silent but Deadly. Mob Squad just couldn't quite get those final rounds they needed, despite making it to map point each time.
That's absolutely right. And for the first clip, we're going to go to the clip that we had at the top of the show. This is our play of the week here from our producer, Buxton. It's down 0-3, and 4Q is going to come in with a super clutch cap to come back, and what turns out to be a 0-3 comeback to 5-3 comeback for Silent but Deadly, and all off the back of this single man clutch right here from 4Q. And here we go. We're going to see the very next. This is going to be the one that puts it over the top. We've got Rush of Light here from Silent but Deadly. He is closing in on the objective. And oh my goodness, is he close. We'll see the camera jumping around here. And there we go. All of a sudden we see man on top of the objective. Rush of Light there. Just typing away at the code on the other side of the wall. Defender completely oblivious. And a little while after... he finally gets that code in, and the cap goes out, and they do take the map 5-3. Here on Suburbia, we're going to go Captain v. Captain in a trade that will decide the series. We're just going to have to let this play out just a little bit longer before we can give you any more hints, aka no spoilers. But Silent but Deadly do get the favor of the trade, and they do win the series. Man,
That's right. I believe they take that series 13 to 9 over Mob Squad. Mob Squad going 3 points on every single map. So each map came down to the wire. That first map, as Buxton had told us, going 0 to 3 before Silent but Deadly turns it around. So pretty impressive turnaround for them.
Yeah, absolutely it was. I mean, Mob Squad, no slouch team, but Silent but Deadly, that team is on the path that Blaze was on just, 2 seasons, a season ago. So really exciting to see what they're going to do in this upcoming season and the seasons beyond that.
Well, judging from our previous encounters with Silent but Deadly, I think they're just using hacks. Moving on to our next match, the Colettos versus Reavers. Now, this was a big one. Colettos were brand new to the league, and as is the adventure for most people, especially if you have a team full of beginners, is that you're going to lose a bunch of matches, and it's going to be a while before we start to see you win. But they were able to actually pull out a win this time. Let's take a look at the best video that we found from this series.
Looks like there's plenty of excitement abound here for the Colettos.
You can't see it, but it's jumping up and down.
This clip's coming in from a writer for us here at VRespawn, the Pink Stingray. Also to note, also the girlfriend of one of our VRML casters, Noman.
Noman,
And
yes.
you can see there.
And they actually hosted you not long ago, so we had fun
They
with that
did,
one.
yes. They were wonderful hosts while we were up there conducting some business for both VRespawn and VRML. So wonderful,
Represents.
wonderful people.
So the Colettos take the series 12-8, going 4 points on every map for the win. They only had to win 2, but they ended up taking all 3 of them. And that should give them some rank up on the leaderboards. Unfortunately, we don't display that many people on leaderboards, so we won't see them on ours. But you'll be able to see them on VR Master League /Onward/standings or something like that. Anyway, moving on.
It's pretty easy. If you just go to vrmasterleague.com/onward, it's pretty easy to find your way through to the standings. So
yeah, click the buttons. Moving on to Phoenix versus Legionnaires. This was a very impressive series. We did not have any clips, unfortunately, though. So Phoenix have really been putting in a lot of hard work. And last time they played was way back in Season 4 against the Legionnaires. So Legionnaires just barely squeaked this one out. They were able to go, if memory serves, they posted up 12 points, Phoenix did, over the Legionnaires' 5 points. So a rough conclusion there. Moving on to Cold Steel versus Riot. It's another match that seemed to have been nice and close, taken to match point in almost all maps. And the Cold Steel was coming on pretty strong here, though it seems Quarantine is just not a strong map for them.
yeah, I mean, here we will see Grim Reaper moving from the car to the rock and getting a quick spray.
To the rock.
He's going to pick up one. And one more here. Here it is now. You get a nice double kill on the round.
Yes, Cold Steel ends up taking that one 11 points to 9. So real close all around. As Buxton said, very fun match to watch. They did a really great job. Cold Steel holding it down, grabbing those extra points. But then we had a baller of a match, beginners versus boss fight. The old rivals from the other side of the Atlantic. It's a classic match, one that was everybody was sure to tune in. And boss fight try their best, but it's beginners, and beginners do, well, the beginners thing. It was uneventful, as Buxton says. And it's sort of like when you watch Danglers versus Global Chem, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but sometimes, a lot of the tough games, they're close in numbers and they're good games in the sense of the scoreboard. But, sometimes there's not really any dynamic action. You know what I mean? Like,
Unless somebody like
not
messes
always
up.
real highlight plays in a big knockdown match like a beginner's boss fight. Usually, yes, you're probably chock full of clips that you could go to. But sometimes it's just kind of the more slow, boring, methodical stuff that doesn't really bring any excitement.
Well, the excitement are those rushes. I mean, Global Chem usually has some fairly exciting airstrike grenades, but for the most part, catching somebody with their pants down and pulling off an amazing move is not going to happen when you have two of the best teams in the world to go up against. So moving on from that, they took it 12-4 against boss fight. Moving on to Danglers versus Global Chem to bring them up. Global Chem show their stuff in this match, and at least the first two maps. But when it goes to the home turf of Danglers, they totally reversed it. Though it was still close, they managed to take a map off of Global Chem in that one, which is an accomplishment in of itself.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to take a map from Global Chem, and so kudos to them for getting it. And Arsenic is going to expose a weakness of Global Chem, and that's their inability to cap, according to Buxton. They're going to be going for this one and not going to be able to get it. Going to end up drawing the weapon instead and getting the round win that way. But unfortunately, Arsenic not showing well for his team as far as the caps go. And then here we're going to see Raphael just going hammer, or should I say knifer. He's going to end up with 2 here as this clip continues to unfold before us. Got the 1. Did he already get both of them?
It happens off screen. He's a
so
ninja.
Fast. So fast he is.
Yeah, so Global King ended up taking Danglers 11-5, but Danglers did get that last match on Tanker 3-4. As you said, their one weakness is that they don't know how to cap, or that they just prefer not to.
No, I think they try and secure every round, just no matter how they do it. They'd rather get 1 point and secure the round than try for 2 and get 0 points.
Yeah. It's not worth it if you're staying on top. Well, next up we have Space Force versus Animal House. Now, Buxton didn't give me a good write-up on this one. All I know is that Animal House was able to take the win, and but it did not start out in their favor in the beginning. And then in the middle maps is where it ended up working out for them. In Suburbia Day, just barely, and then Bazaar is where they take the win all the way to the bank with a 5-1. Let's take a look at these clips.
That's it. Our first clip will start us out on Suburbia, and as you can see, it is just a smoke show. It looks like Snoop Dogg and Cypress Hill and all those 90s hip-hop artists are having a convention, but you can see there in the smoke 2 members of MARSOC, one with his pad out, and here comes the cap, and that is going to be, I believe that was Animal House getting the cap there on Suburbia. Yes, it was. And next, we're going to go to the 3rd map, which was Bazaar, which is where Animal House really turns on the heat. Here we can see one of their players getting up into position quite nicely, and they're going to go ahead and secure a quick cap. Yes, it's Silent Night, securing a quick cap to start off the round strong for Animal House on map 3. And for our last one, it is the final round. Animal House already up 2, but they're going to go for more. Green Theft Auto going to pop in and find driver of car, and now he's inside the objective building. He's capping with tab out. He's got backup by Silent Night, and there it is. Animal House, they grab 2 and win the map 5-1, and of course seal the series, which of course does go to the 3rd map decider.
Yes,
Animal
it
House
does.
take it 5-1 there at the end.
Yeah. And with an overall total of 11-8, Animal House over Space Force. And it's good to see Animal House continuing to push forward this season.
Yeah.
We'll see who they play next. Have they played you guys yet? Have I been zoning out? I think they did. They played you guys recently. Well, your former team.
I don't think so. I don't know that we've played them this season. And it could be a MMR thing.
There's so much going on now that I don't even know my name. Yeah.
Oh, we did play them actually.
Okay. I'm talking about after they turn the season
week.
around. I was hoping they get another play against Danglers. Well, let's move on to Fury versus G-Men. It's time again for another update on Fury's progress towards becoming a top-tier team. This time around, they're making another jump and almost taking down G-Men, taking DF, Nice, and Smooth, making it to match point, then Quarantine 1, Daytime. Definitely shows that they're continuing to improve, especially with their team play and communication. Downfall being very heavy on the 2.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, they just slugging it out. This was a really decent matchup, actually. Fury really putting up some numbers against G-Men. That's surprising. I mean, Fury's doing a heck of a job in their improvement. I think they'll definitely be improving and pushing maybe into that top 10 frame, by the mid or end of next season. They
ended up going 10-8. Fury, as we mentioned earlier, taking that first map, going 43 on the second one, then giving up that 4-1 on Subway. So super close for Fury to be able to do that to G-Men. So I'm expecting to see more from them as they become an older team. They're starting to really take those shots at those top tiers. Moving on to another match that we do not have clips from, Blaze versus SMC Tactical. This match was a real stark difference from Blaze being steamrolled by SMC. The former kings of fast play have well and truly been dethroned. All 3 maps went to Blaze, and not even one map to match point.
Yeah, it wasn't
What's going on with SMC? Did Vegas get them?
I have no idea, and what really irks me is the only win that they've been able to get successfully against like the other top tier teams has been against Danglers, and that's it. Like the G-Men, Phoenix, Blaze, all three have been able to kind of topple SMC. Of course, Globochem also able to secure a win on SMC as well, but of course that was more to be expected. And then now, yeah, I mean, you see Blaze and SMC, and Blaze gets the win. And like you said, not even one map going to match point.
Just brutal.
4-0 on the first map. In fact, Quarantine 1, which SMC normally pretty strong on. In fact, they've been getting a lot of practice in against teams like Globochem and Beginners. So I really don't know what's going on with them. They assure me that they're back on the horse and that it was just a rough start. But we'll have to see.
That's 13-4. I mean, Blaze is also like a great team. It's just you're not used to seeing the name Blaze on top of SMC Tactical. And this whole season, we've not seen them perform well. Well, SMC Tactical, get back to it, man. You're killing us. All right, so moving on, we have one more interesting thing to take a look at. Well, let's take a look at how that affects the standings first. Let's take a look at the standings for the VRML League. We have the Beginners sitting on top, as we saw them last week over Globochem, posting up just more matches played. Lemon Squad over Danglers for, I think, probably much the same reason. Boss Fight over SMC. SMC still holding on. Animal House, French Onward Union climbing up, as we saw. Phoenix and G-Men trailing, and Blaze holding on to the 11th position. So, things are moving. Things are shaking. I'm expecting to see more. But what is very interesting, before we move on to the leaderboards for the VR League, we actually had a clip submitted to us by Haunted Folly of Reavers. Let's take a look.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a description from him here. He says they smoked the western entrance for the lower deck objective, and I threw a flash into the smoke, then sprayed with the G36C and just heard, ping, ping, ping.
He just deaded him. And there's the last one.
And ran in.
He just got 4
another
guys
one around the corner.
Yeah, he said they didn't end up getting the win on this map after he got this 4v1, but he did get the 4v1. So let's see how that affects the standings for that cup. Beginners actually posting up 3-1 for the Europeans. Article 13, what's it called?
Caltrop.
Brackets 16. I know it's Caltrop's team. Yeah, 3-1. Silent Project going 3-1. Dead Logic and Vikings and Boss Fight all posting up 2-2. They're having a lot of trouble with that format, but Beginners at the very least are holding on to that top spot. Let's take a look at how this affected the North American standings.
Yeah, I don't think any of the top teams like Globo and Beginners are having too much trouble because they're just consistently winning, But yeah, the other teams are definitely having issues with how the structure goes and how the format ends up placing them. And so teams can dictate how other teams rank based on who they play in bye weeks. And it's been an ongoing thing, but I'm sure they'll eventually work the kinks out and things will start to flow smoother for all the teams involved.
This is the second week that we see G-Man topping the scoreboard over Globochem. And Blaze holding on to a position right up at Globochem. If it wasn't for the tiebreaker, they'd be in the same position with the number of wins. It is a Swiss-style format, so they don't all get to play each other, but some shakeups, so to speak. And it makes me wonder, can we make predictions at this point now that we're over halfway through the VRL season? Who's going to end up going to the LAN? I mean, we know we're going to get Globochem. We know we're going to get Beginners. But who's going to be those second teams? Because I'm thinking Vikings are probably going to make it for the European side.
Well, I think there's only going to be one more team selected, and it'll be from the NA side. And then the last team, the fourth team, will be the champion team from the VRML
that's Europe gets one team, right?
Right.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot that they did that little change there. Oh, well, there we go. So it's going to be Beginners, definitely Beginners.
There's still a possibility, though, as well, that it could be a European team making it through the VRML finalists. Because, again, if Beginners, if Globochem, and someone else even qualify in ESL in the VR League, and they place first, second, third, respectively in VRML, then we'll just keep going down until we get to that fourth place team in our league and take them if the other three teams have qualified in VR League. So there's always a chance.
It's always so complicated.
NA or a European. Yeah, well, it did of course have to be complicated, but either way, basically what we're saying is if you've already made it in VR League, you don't have to worry about it in VRML. You can win the championship, but you won't have to worry about it.
Well,
We've got a slot for you.
Caltrop's Article 13 team actually beat beginners that last cup. So that
Well,
granted,
I
it's
mean,
one map and it's first to 3 points, but still, it's worth noting.
Yeah, the format and then just the overall style of the cup has proven to be quite interesting because you'll see those teams, those top teams like beginners and global slip a little bit. I mean, because everyone, like we saw in the show here tonight, Dangler's able to take a map. I just casted a match that we'll cover next week of G-Men, and of course, no spoilers, but the things are going on, and occasionally Giants fall on maps, and that's what we'll see throughout the ESL, and that's one of the benefits, I'd say, to that style and to the shortened number of rounds needed and the shortened time periods and stuff like that. But it's going to take a lot of adjusting for teams who are coming from the VRML and its formatting style.
For sure, man. Well, that is all the time we have for today. That is it for us. Thanks to all of our players and viewers for supporting the show. Show us some love in the comments to get a conversation going, as this helps the show rank up to get more exposure to people that don't know about the league.
Yes, absolutely. And keep those clips coming, folks. Even if your game isn't casting, we love the first-person point of views. As long as you don't keep your head going too much like this, of course. Can't have any seizures going on and have to watch that. That's tough for the folks at home.
Yeah, again, I am Poonanders, joined by VRML mod, caster, and former dangler Sleepy.
That's me. Thank you, Poonanders. And the show is brought to you by VRespawn.com, your one and only source for VR esports news and entertainment.
This episode was written by Buxton with the help of all our team captains. All praise unto Buxton. He suffers at the keyboard, so we don't have to. We are working hard on this production software, which has a little bit of ways to go. And man, it took us a while to get it up and running today, but we're just going to be able to get a little bit faster. It's going to come a day when we'll just be able to sit down at the desk and do it. And Buxton will be able to sit down and get all the clips that everybody has sent to the VRML match sites. Your captain can now submit directly there. Thanks, Dockin Man. Thank you, Dockin Man. So jump on there, send us those clips, DM them if you have to, and we'll put them on the show just like Haunted Folly was able to do. Triple Nipple, as always, is our outstanding director. Send us home, Sleepy.
All right, well, thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you know the next time we go live, and we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody.